Stand by. The program will begin soon.
When I see an American flag, I immediately look at that I'm like, that person's probably a bigot. That person's probably a homophobe. That person's probably a racist if they're just flying American flags out everywhere.
Hold up. Hey, this sounds more like a you problem. You should probably go see somebody about that.
He got over $5 million per year from the American taxpayers, being given no bid contracts from Maine Governor Janet Mills, and is building a military in Somalia. He has been funneling money back to Somalia to build a military in Somalia. The guy is running a migrant services agency that builds Maine Care, which is what we call Medicaid, about $5 million a year. Oh no, those illegal immigrants are getting any Medicare. And then he said he raised money in the U.S. to buy weapons, munitions, and supplies for a paramilitary force he had hoped to lead as the president of Jubaland. Yes, that's a real state in Somalia. And to be clear, in Somalia, he's running to be the warlord of Jubaland. Elections in Jubaland aren't exactly like elections in America. It's whoever has the most guns is able to certify the election. So he needed to buy a paramilitary organization and paramilitary support in order to win the election. Avocados Diablius asked if you could bring any one comic strip character to life and train them to be a hitman, who would you choose? Oh, that's the easiest question ever. Calvin. Calvin. Oh, look, Somnambule Nation, you and I are on the same page. Calvin. From Calvin and Hobbes. Yes. And by God, Calvin would be the greatest hitman to ever live. Better than John Wick. I guarantee it. I didn't get to think of it.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
Yes, it's true. The Obama administration deported over 3 million people. In the Biden administration, over 4 million people. But they didn't need troops. They didn't need military in the streets to do it. Tell me why. Put it in the chat. Tell me why you think that's that.
Because when Obama and Biden were in office, there were no riots in the streets of Los Angeles, even though 80% of the deportations were also expedited with no hearing. But you didn't give a shit then. Now that Trump's in office, you suddenly give a shit. Hope that helps.
That turkey was amazing. Mostly because I cooked it, because I'm really good at cooking turkey. So one of my tricks that new tricks that I do, you know how when you cook a turkey in a pan, even if you got one of those raised pans, it always happens. You cook this turkey and the breast of the turkey get all nice, the top gets all nice and brown, and then you go to cut the underside and the thighs and legs are like all white underneath and not even done. Well, there's a trick you can do to avoid that. What you do is you cook the bird upside down for at least 1/3 of the cooking time. So you end up browning the bottom and sealing that first, even more so. And the other thing I do is I start my oven at 500 degrees. The first 45 minutes to an hour, you put it at 500 degrees, and then you turn it down to 325 and do the rest of the cooking. But anyway, do it upside down, and 1/3 of the way through, then you flip the bird back over in the pan, and the entire bird gets finished at the same time. So apparently, in Europe, you can refer to Americans as pigs. but not convicted rapists. A German court gives woman harsher punishment than convicted. I hate it when people say rapist. I'll just say unwanted sexual activity peoples for calling him a disgraceful pig. She called someone convicted of that crime a disgraceful pig and got a harsher punishment than the person who actually committed unwanted sexual activity. And so that's why people were posting that story about the German court gives women harsher punishment than convicted unwanted sexual activity.
Stand by. The program will begin soon.
There's a story about this man, too. He led the attack on Pearl Harbor, but died a Christian missionary on December 7, 1941. Captain Mitsuo Fuchida flew the lead plane against Pearl Harbor, shouting the famous code, Tora, Tora, Tora. He hated America. But after the war, he met a former American POW, Jacob DeSager, who had returned to Japan not to punish him, but to preach the gospel. Shocked by this forgiveness, Fuchida bought a Bible and converted to Christianity in 1950. The man who started the Pacific War spent the rest of his life touring the U.S. and Japan preaching, quote, I was a follower of the sword. Now I'm a follower of the cross. Amazing. Nearly 5 years after pipe bombs were discovered outside the headquarters of the Democratic National Committee and the Republican National Committee in Washington, D.C., a suspect has been arrested in the case. On Thursday, federal agents arrested Brian Cole Jr., 30 of Woodbridge, Virginia, and he was charged with transportation of explosive devices, blah, 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 blah. But on Friday, legacy media outlets began reporting that Cole, this young black man right here, was a Trump supporter. And I'm not saying he's not because he's black. I'm just saying there's other evidence that might support the fact that he's not a Trump supporter. But we'll get to that. Quote, Brian Cole worked for a bail bonds company run by his father that worked to free illegal immigrants from ICE facilities and sued the Trump administration's Department of Homeland Security. He worked for his dad. They tried to free illegal immigrants. Interesting. Yes, I know every Trump supporter, every black supporter, Trump supporter, would be quick to hire Benjamin Crump, who represented the family of Trayvon Martin, attempting to sink the Biden administration Department of Justice on a local Tennessee prosecutor who had raised concerns about the bail bond company. We'll find out eventually that this guy had wanted nothing to do.
Additionally, if you open this up to ice fishing, while on the surface it sounds good, then what happens next year? Does someone come back and say, I want an ice shanty on Hudson Springs Park for X amount of time? And if you then allow ice fishing with shanties, then that leads to another problem. Prostitution. And now you've got the police chief and the police department involved. Just data points to consider.
It is Happy Bill of Rights Day on December 1791. The Commonwealth of Virginia ratified the Bill of Rights, the first 10 amendments to the U.S. Constitution. George Mason and James Madison were the driving forces behind these guarantees of individual rights. And note that all the individual rights that are in the Bill of Rights are not rights granted by the government. Those are the inalienable rights which the government shall not infringe. And if you notice, it's interesting because the Bill of Rights is all about what the government cannot do, not what the government can do. And I think the kind of got away from that a little bit, where some people seem to think that the government is supposed to grant you rights. No, these are rights you have, whether it's a government or not, and the rights that the government must protect for you. So it was a unique thing when it came about in 1791. one, that government is not there to grant you or give you privileges, but rather to protect the rights that you have.
Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, the one and only Dawg Knight.
Alrighty then. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Morning Night Live. I'm your host, Marty, also known as Dawg Knight on the internet. Welcome back to the Dawg Knight Channel, where we talk about what's happening in the world on a daily basis, except for on Saturdays and Sundays, because I take a long rest from everything. Well, not always, but anyway, we had some fun yesterday talking about Don Lemon. There's a couple updates. He's bitching out because, in fact, I was going to see if he's streaming this morning just to bitch about Nicki Minaj. I think, is it started yet? Let me see this. Let me pause. No, it's still waiting. It said it's at 9 a.m. and it's 9:18. But I'll show you the screen what he's doing. He's very upset with Nicki Minaj, and he's actually going to do a whole stream dedicated to her, I guess. I think it's hilarious.
From Z-Biotics. Now, let's be honest. After a night out with drinks, I don't bounce back the way that I used to.
Okay, he's doing a commercial first. Anyway, shut up, Don Lemon. But yeah, he's going to crash out some more about Nicki Minaj. She called him out, and he got into a spat with her and claiming that she's an illegal alien and she has, what else did he say? That he has relatives that are pedophiles and whatever, sexual offenders, whatever. He's crazy. He's nuts. Anyway, but we won't spend a whole lot of time on Don today because there's some other stuff to talk about. But let's get it going because, time was wasted. First in the chat today, Somnambule Nation gets the bell. Yeah. Congratulations. Also, good morning, Avocados Diabli, coming in a close second. Mike Savage, Larg. Ms. Wild Wolf's here. Kara Soldier, Green Badger Outdoors. Good morning. Somnambule Nation. I already said Somnambule Nation. You were here first. There we go. Lewis is in the house. What up, Louie? And I'm here because I guess. Darkest Desire Poppy came over from the Wolf Stream. Thank you for joining us. Nice to have you here for the first time. Good morning, Midnight Skilla 08. Otherwise, Maddie's in the house. Also, good morning to Tall Person. Nice to have you back. You're getting here kind of on the regular again. That's kind of cool. I like it. Johnny Boomer Tech's down there doing the job. Unacceptable views by other favorite Canadian. Also, good morning to. That's it. I think. Oh wait, Darren Root. I didn't mean to miss you there, brother. And Attack Alpaca. I missed a few. I must have scrolled too fast. I think I got everybody though who's here so far. Hit the like button. Share the stream. Hit that right up. Where is it? It'd be over here somewhere. Is it, or if your chat might be there. Or your chat might be there. Wherever your chat is, at the top of your chat, there's a link to click and reply to with the words "Let's go" and a meme or a GIF or a GIF or they're GIFs. I always say I don't know why I even pretend that I pretend it's called a GIF. It's a GIF. It's a GIF. Graphics something or other. It's an acronym. Let's see. Is Don still bitch? Let's see if Don's bitching about.
Who knows where I am? Los Angeles. One never knows. Florida, San Diego, Centerville, Virginia. Okay,
nobody cares, Don. Okay. All right, let's get it going. And Blue Eyed Scream's in the house. What up? Nice to see you. Yes, miss coming here. Needed to get back in the habit. Well, I appreciate you, man. I appreciate you. That would be Tall Person. All right. Let's get it rolling along because there's a lot to do. First, as tempted as I am to watch Don's stream, just to hear him bitch, I'm going to watch it later. I'm going to embed the links though, so you can watch it too, because I know everyone's just dying to hear what Don Lemon has to say every day. But FTG, thanks to people sharing the stream. Also, we'll get to that right now, which I'm going to guess Somnambule Nation has already done. If I scroll down here far enough, I will find it. Yes, Somnambule Nation, Johnny on the spot, got the stream posted, and also Miss Wild Wolf, of course, has it. Are you here? Did I say hi to you? I saw a scale. Oh, there. I did. I guess I did. Excuse me. Excuse me. Let me just. Today's coffee is brought to you by Switzerland. Also, Tall Person, thank you for sharing the stream. Greatly appreciate it. Somnambule Nation replying, just checking, but I'm confident that I know the answer. Are the assholes still in charge? Wait, what? Oh, because my thing, how to explain everything. Oh, yeah. And that's courtesy of Ms. Wild Wolf sent me something, and I was like, oh, I completely forgot about that. It's old news, but I just think it's quite appropriate. Also, Green Badger Outdoors with a little what do you call it? Revolutionary War hardware, the old cannons. Although I suppose they use those they use cannons for a long time. Cannons, I mean, even on ships and stuff. Anyway, also Simon Wilkins showing me some snowy stairs. I'll hear PDawgKnight explanation later. Okay, let's see. And this is, I don't know where this is. Welcome to Weston. Weston, I don't know where Weston is. Anyway, that's a lovely sign. 1796. It must be out east. So anyway, there you go. And then, I suppose I'll repost that too, of course. And, some cuteness. Thank you, Midnight. I can't repost it, but I can certainly like it. There we go. Thanks everyone sharing the stream and helping me out a little bit. You know, it helps. You know, even the fact you brought a friend today. I appreciate that. You brought a friend, and that's cool. All right. Let's see. Now, let me get through this beginning quick because we're not a sports program. However, congratulations to the Indie. Oh wait, I forgot. Hold on. Hang on a second. I almost forgot. I didn't have a feature holiday today, but I'll run through what to celebrate today because, you know, we got to celebrate the holidays. And today is National Penguin Day. What? The only penguins we have are in the friggin' zoo. Anyway, celebrate National Penguin Day with a virtual visit to Antarctica and learn about these adorable, fascinating creatures. Yeah. It's also National Cheese Lovers Day. I live close enough to Wisconsin to really appreciate that. In fact, we love going to the Burnett County Dairy Store when we go to our friend's cabin up near Webster. What a great freaking place to buy cheese and not milk, but they have like a deli there and they got a sandwich shop. And they got ice cream. It's fantastic. Oh, you're a cheese lover, Avocado Stapley? Well, there you go. Happy National Cheese Lovers Day. Also, it's Penguin Awareness. Not just National Penguin Day, but it's also Penguin Awareness Day. Don't be a cold fish. Join the festivities on Penguin Awareness Day and raise awareness for these amazing flightless birds. Whatever. Oh, there's my holiday. National Coffee Break Day. We'll be taking coffee breaks today. National DJ Day. Oh, wait. That was me doing the drop in the beat like a DJ. That was terrible. Take a Walk Outdoors Day. International Day of Acceptance. National Judy Day, if you know someone named Judy. Woo! And Guru Gobind Singh Jayant. That must be some Indian stuff. Camcorder Day. Camcorder Day. Who the hell has a camcorder anymore? Wow. PDawgKnight, you did the X shares a little too quick today, LOL. Oh, sorry. I just trying to be efficient. And then also, if you know anybody, Charlie, National Charlie Day. We can do it in remembrance of Charlie Kirk, I guess. All right. Let's get into some newsy stuff. This is what I was going to tell you earlier. Not a sports show. However, congratulations to the Indiana Hoosiers. National champions, 16-0, won the national championship last night. I didn't watch the game. I wish I would have, but I forgot it was on because, you know, I don't pay attention to that shit that often. But lots of happy people in Indiana. Remember, this is the college football program that has the Division I or whatever, that has the worst overall record all time. And now they are national champions going 16-0, beating the dreaded Miami Hurricanes. What was the score? 28-21 or something like that. And apparently a lot of things are trending because of this. Josh Hoover, the backup quarterback for Indiana, is in the portal, apparently going to, what? Apparently leaving. Experts are telling me that Josh Hoover is going to have a hard time acclimating to life in Indiana. Wait. Oh, no, Josh Hoover came from TCU. Anyway, Indiana won. I don't know. I didn't pay attention to the side stories. Oh, hi, JB. What's up? And then Beck is trending, not Glenn Beck, but Carson Beck, the Miami quarterback who refused to shake hands. He walked off the field, skipped the handshake like the game ended on his terms. This is not fire. This is what frustration with nowhere to go. Win or lose, you face it. You do not sulk your way to the tunnel. So anyway, he's getting trashed in the media and on X. And then also Thug Life is Thug U is trending because, Miami has a reputation. And of course, after the game, one of the players wanted to start a fight, and there was some nasty bad hits or whatever. So you can scroll through the links today, and if you're interested in that stuff, you can check it out. World War III. What? So, is cat music? I'm not sure what that means. So not musician Beck? No, not the musician Beck either. The kid named Carson Beck, who was the Miami quarterback, refused to go to the handshake line. He just sulked off like a little bitch. Anyway, World War III is trending, which I was like, huh? People are talking about World War III like there's actually men out there willing to sign up and die for this shit, fighting to take over sovereign nations to steal their resources. A lot different than save the world from Nazis. Okay, listen. I don't know that we're really on the brink of World War III, but lots of people are talking about it because, oh, this is interesting. Europe is cursing the U.S. well, hey, let's watch this one. This one may have something to do with it. Europe is cursing the U.S. while demanding military aid. How can this be settled? I've never really cared about the whole Greenland thing, but there's some interesting tidbits going on about it. Let's listen to this one.
Us and talk shit and then demand that we help you with Ukraine. That's pretending to be an ally for something you want while talking shit to us and treating us like an enemy. Kind of fuck you. Maybe we leave NATO. Maybe we leave you fighting in Ukraine. And maybe we watch from the sidelines as Russia invades Western Europe and we do nothing to help you because of your behavior. Maybe it's all coming to a head. Maybe you're 10 or 20 years straight of talking shit to us and bleeding us dry. Maybe we've had enough of that shit.
Why is he talking about Lisa Murkowski?
When you finally gain some respect for the people that have helped you, namely us, the United States. And if you don't, I hope you like speaking Russians or at least capitulating to your Russo-Chinese new masters. Hell, the way you treat free speech in England, France, Scotland, Ireland, and other places, you might as well have done that already. Because you don't care about freedom, you care about political posturing and somebody taking care of the military for you.
So why Greenland? Greenland is much more strategic militarily for us now that there's some island just north of in the Great Britain or whatever that we have a military base on. That there's also an island in the Indian Ocean that Great Britain's about to give away. But I was watching it was some fake show about a president showing us the corridor between Greenland and Europe that is a very strategic place that we really don't have a president, but also presidents. Well, we have a presence, but this fight is causing problems with that. And it has nothing to do with whether it's green. It has to do with resources and strategery. Strategery, as George W. Bush used to say. Anyway, so people talking about World War III. What's this? Let's see what this is replying to. Someone says, Trump trying to provoke both a world war and a civil war at the same time while demanding a Nobel Peace Prize is a level of insanity I've never seen before. Someone CCAKK. To which someone says, but it's okay when Biden tried to provoke World War III against Russia by giving Ukraine weapons, though, right? I don't know. I don't know. Someone here says, the way Trump is behaving, it seems World War III is not far away. Americans, please remove him from the presidency as soon as possible, no matter what. Otherwise, he's not only a threat to the world, but also to America. America cannot remain a superpower for long with his actions. Well, we're kind of the only, well, I suppose between us and China are the superpowers. Oh, that's because some European countries deployed a bunch of troops to Greenland. Apparently, Germany had too, because they were doing some joint military exercises in some of the European nations, and they decided to do it in Greenland. I wonder why. And apparently, Trump made some threat about tariffs or something, so people wouldn't buy their goods, and they pulled theirs back already. I don't know. I am, like I said, I'm a midget when it comes to this particular topic. I haven't read enough about it. I just saw the what the hell was it? That thing from that. Well, I got another one. I'll show you in a minute. But I don't know enough about it to actually chime in on it. So I just tell you what's trending, and that's it. All right, Looney Lenny, what's up? Welcome to the show. New guy here. Are you new, or are you just popping in like on the very occasionally? I can't tell all the time. Anyway, welcome. All right. So headlines that happened for this morning that are prominent. Apparently, Mexico election plot has been unmasked. How Mexico's 50-plus consulates in the U.S. are running a shadow campaign to sway U.S. election. I have never heard of this, but Mexico consulates across the United States are running a shadow campaign to bend American elections in favor of Mexican interests. A #1 New York Times bestselling investigative journalist and Breitbart News senior contributor Peter Schweizer writes in his new book, The Invisible Coup, How American Elites and Foreign Powers Use Immigration as a Weapon. Oh, gee, who would have thought that immigration was being used to help sway electoral things? Because, the states don't have voter ID, and people come in and they're like, oh, well, we're going to vote in this election because it'll help us. With more than 50 consulates in the U.S. today, Schweitzer writes, the Mexican government is blatantly interfering in our domestic politics, working with American political advisors to turn legal and illegal migrants inside the U.S. into a political force to wield for their benefit. In particular, Schweitzer writes, the Mexican government sends about 1 million textbooks to American schools every year to teach its version of U.S. history, among other subjects. Likewise, for Mexican-American adults in the U.S., Mexico consulates offer such courses, which Schweitzer writes is not meant to help assimilate Mexican immigrants to American life. Perhaps the most consequential are the mass protests that Mexico's consulates helped stage in the U.S. Schweitzer writes, designed to combat anti-illegal immigration policies. Gee, I can't imagine. I'm sure there's all kinds of countries trying to do that kind of shit, but, Mexico has 50 consulates in the U.S. and whatever. Cannon, what's up? Cannon Hotep in the house. Whoops, what the hell? Also, Lord Stanhope is here, and Special Cat Acid on my list of favorite Canadians, and, of course, the Pope, Tyrannus III, the Blessed Lich, with today's message of hope, not from the Father, not from the Son, but from the Holy Ghost. Pope Tyrannus says, blessing of the Holy Ghost. In God's house, all are welcome. Remember, you are here to venerate him. Don't leave a mess. Don't steal. And lastly, check your politics at the door. Such a wonderful and beautiful message from the Pope Tyrannus III. Aaron Meredith, how you doing? I see you. And Rick Ashburger. So people are starting to roll in because the notifications finally went out. So anyway, does it surprise any of you that foreign nations of sorts have tried to push their own political interests within our electorate? I'll wait for your answer. Other headlines, also from Breitbart, the right-wing nutjob news network. Eric Holder on MLK Day says there's a concerted effort to resegregate America. Oh my God, he cannot help himself. By who? Eric Holder, what? Speaking after receiving an award at the National Action Network's annual Dr. Martin Luther King Day legislative breakfast in Washington, D.C. That'd be Al Sharpton's group. Eric Holder delivered a sweeping critique of what he characterized as state-sponsored voter suppression, racial gerrymandering, and erosion of democratic institutions. Apparently there's a day ending in which Eric Holder will make a speech like this. He argued that there is a sustained effort to eradicate the Voting Rights Act, a law he called the crown jewel of the civil rights movement, and an essential part of Dr. King's legacy. He said that the forces reshaping the country are testing not only our institutions, but our collective and individual capacity to defend the ideals of this nation. Okay, Eric, what are the ideals of this nation? Can you define that? Because I think the ideals is trying in the Constitution, which we've taken a long time to try to get to a point where we're including everybody in that, right? And we've fought and bled and marched and whatever to get there. And you seem to think that someone's trying to take that back, and I don't know why. I don't get it. Holder, let's see. He said he claimed the Department of Justice is being weaponized by the president and his lackeys to silence his critics and intimidate voters. Wow, I've never heard of a Justice Department doing that. Biden administration. Did I say that out loud? No? Okay, good. Okay. Could they hear that? Could you hear that? Okay. Look, I really don't think so. But immigration enforcement, he criticized federal immigration enforcement, saying, we are observing Gestapo tactics by federal immigration law enforcement in Minnesota as well as around the country. Now, look, I'm going to be the first to admit, some of the stuff they're doing makes me go, But then I read the complete story, and then I realize, oh, well, maybe it's just they're framing it in a way to make it as bad as possible, right? Although some of the stuff they're doing, I go, why would you do that? Like, for example, the guy, they went into a house in St. Paul. There are 2 people there that have deportation orders. 3 people living in the house. So they go into the house, and there's only one person there, but he matched the description of one of the 2. And like, this is stupid to me. This is stupid optics by ICE, for example. So they take him out, and he's still in like his boxer shorts and a robe, and it's freezing cold outside. And they take him, and then they figure out eventually, because he refused to identify himself, right? He refused to identify himself. They're looking for the 3 people. He matched the description of one of them. So they take him in his car. They eventually figure out, oh, he is the one person there that's a naturalized citizen. So they bring him back. But the optics are, you got some guy, they're taking some guy out in his underwear, which even if they found the right guy, I think that's just stupid to not let the guy get dressed in, -6-degree weather. Okay, there's some stuff they do that I think is dumb, but they're still doing they're still trying to do their job. So, good morning, Tone Tech. Welcome back. Cap locked on overdrive. Jesus would have flipped that table over. Wait a minute. Last Supper, Jesus would have said, Don, I made the table. Get from under that table. You're disgusting. Oh, gosh. You're going to be entertaining again today. That's pretty good. If Don Lemon was at the Last Supper, he'd be the disciple under the table. Oh, I see. You're writing a whole story here. That's funny. Okay. So anyway, Eric Holder being Eric Holder. In legal insurrection, U.S. military sends military assets to the region as Trump keeps all options open on Iran. The death toll in Iran is going up, and Trump said that he would try to help them if he could, and now he's got a carrier group going back into the Mediterranean. And then while the media speculation regarding the U.S. strike against Iran may have subsided, the genocidal mullahs in Tehran shouldn't take the sigh of relief anytime soon. As the U.S. ambassador to the UN, Mike Waltz, told the UN Security Council on Friday, President Donald Trump has made it clear that all options are on the table to stop the slaughter, and no one should know that better than the leadership of the Iranian regime. Iran's dictator Ayatollah Ali Khamenei and his top henchmen are publicly taunting and mocking Trump while admitting that they have massacred thousands of protesters. On Saturday, Khamenei, in a televised address, boasted of slaughtering thousands of his own countrymen while ordering regime forces to break the back of the nationwide uprising, calling it an American conspiracy. Oh, well, isn't that special? Isn't that special? I said this is going to be a church lady episode. Isn't that special? According to an investigative report compiled by the Times of London, Khamenei regime may have killed around 16,500 protesters and injured 330,000 as brutality quells the protest. The newspaper called it a genocide under digital darkness, referring to the near total internet blackout imposed by Tehran on Friday. God, I hate getting involved in other people's messes, but you would think that, all those people that were bitching about Gaza after the Hamas started a war with Israel, all those people bitching about Gaza. Do you hear a peep out of them right now about what's happening in Iran? Maybe it's because they don't hear about how many people are killed. That's 5 times. Well, not 5 times as many casualties, but 5 times as many people injured than in Gaza. That's crazy. But do you hear anyone complaining about it? Oh, wait, I know why. Because Iran funds Hamas. So if Iran goes down, Hamas might go down too. I get it. Never mind. All right. So anyway, that's a story. In Breitbart, California harasses a former resident for taxes 4 years after he moved. Entrepreneur Hari Raghavan posted a screenshot of a letter he received from California looking for taxes from 4 years ago after he says he moved out of the former Gold State. Let's see. To my billionaire friends, keep your receipts. Just kidding. I don't have billionaire friends. But seriously, 4 years later, California is hunting down those who left. Narrative of the circumstances surrounding you becoming non-residents. What a joke. This is what a failing state looks like. So let's take a look at this letter. This will be interesting. This is from the state of California. Written to, what the hell? There we go. Here's the letter. I'm trying to get this on his screen. Come on. There we go. This is a letter written to Hari Raghavan and Mitali Gala, which I believe is the couple in question. We are examining your California personal income tax return for the year listed above in order to begin our examination. Please provide the following. This is for the year 2022, but they moved. They moved 4 years ago. Different schedules, blah, blah, blah. Now, but let's go under. So it tells you what they want them to send in. But here's down here about the move out date. Provide a brief narrative of the events and circumstances surrounding you becoming a non-resident of California. We moved. With your response, provide specific move out date, as it was not reported on the 2022 California 540 non-resident return. Wait, non-resident return? For each shipment of household, personal, vehicle, etc. items from California to Florida during the period January 1, 2022 through December 31st, 2022, please provide complete copy of moving invoices, complete copy of moving company household goods inventory list, copy of the canceled checks and or documents substantiating payments made to each moving company utilized. You may choose to represent yourself or authorize someone to represent you during your examination. Is that going to be like a microscope up their butthole? I don't know. I'm like, I would be in the camp fuck off California category. So I don't know. All right. Let's just move on. Now let's talk about some of the things that X is featuring. Now, we saw this a little bit yesterday. The protesters sit-in at a Target store in St. Paul, Minnesota. On Monday, a sit-in, West St. Paul. Oh, West St. Paul. I should go. Oh, I want to go over there now. That's not really far from me. Oh, I wish I'd have known it was in West St. Paul. I thought it was the one down in St. Paul. I don't like driving down to St. Paul. But West St. Paul is not that far. The Monday sit-in at a West St. Paul Target store targeted the retailer's alleged cooperation with ICE amid heightened enforcement in the Twin Cities, including arrests of immigrants with criminal records and incidents involving U.S. citizen workers. Organized by groups like Unidos Minnesota, as part of the ICE Out and Minnesota campaign, protesters sang songs and held signs like "ICE Out, Be Good," with no arrests reported. Target stayed silent while backlash criticized the disruption, and supporters defended it as protecting communities. How exactly are you protecting communities when you're harboring people who've done heinous things, crimes? Because, most of the people they're looking for have done crimes in your community. How does it keep your community safe by forcing ICE to leave the bad guys in your community? Can you answer me that? Protesters? How does it? Anyway, so this is from yesterday. Minnesota ICE protesters continue to interrupt business at Target. They had 70-plus Democrat activists go buy a bunch of salt because salt melts ice, and then stand in line to return it so that no other customers could be helped. This isn't organic. It's organized by an NGO called Unidos Minnesota and a group called Showing Up for Radical Justice. Both are activist group. These Democrats are doing this to demand Target stop letting ICE into their parking lots. Yeah, they're mad because ICE used the parking lot, and apparently some ICE officers actually went in to pee, and they're mad about it. So they brought in a bunch of protesters to block Target. Marty is going to fart on the protesters and then sit back and laugh. I haven't shopped at a Target in a long time, because there's not one close. There's Walmart right over here. I go there sometimes, and then I buy a lot of shit on Amazon. But it makes me want to go to Target and just go buy something and tell these people they're fucking idiots. But, it's not even a road trip for me. That's like, how far is that from me? That's 15, 20 minutes to get to that Target. I'm tempted. We'll have to see if they're still there today. Anyway, we already talked about that yesterday. Speaking of protesters, I just want to show this one. I laughed. Well, I'm not going to tell you what's going to happen. You just got to watch it. It's heartwarming. Let me just say, this is heartwarming. Are you ready? This is, it's related to protesting at Target, but not at Target. Shall we? Here we watch. Pay attention. I'm gonna play it again. I don't want. It's so mean to laugh at it, and I'm not even 100% sure it's real. But it looks kind of real because the people in the background look real. Is it AI? Is it? I don't know. Because the background, oh, yeah, see the background, the words are spelled right. The flag's right. The people walking by are right. That's real. That's not AI. It can't be AI. Is it fake? I don't know, man. Usually when fake things, things are obviously wrong in the background. The details are a little too much. It's still funny as hell. I'm sorry. It's funny. I laughed so hard when I saw that one. All right, moving on. Let's see. And I don't want protesters to be hurt or anything. I just want them to find some way to shut the fuck up. Michelle Obama is facing backlash. Hello, Ghost Wolf Pro. Nice to have you back. Looks like AI edit with the spray. Could be. I don't know. Michelle Obama faces backlash for her podcast remarks on supporting designers of color. So let me see what she says here and see if I give a shit. I'm going to guess I may not, but this is okay. Here's the 35 seconds. I'll play it on this one.
If I hear of someone whose fashion that I like and I know that they're a person of color, I try to make it a point. But the clothes have to be available. You know, I think we can all do some work to think about that balance in our wardrobes. You know, what does our closet look like and who's in it? Mm-hmm. Who are we supporting in it? Right. You know, and
so
I
no
think
more
if
Gucci?
you have the money to buy Chanel, then you have the money to buy everybody.
Right.
Oh, she couldn't come up with a name though. That's hilarious. She should have had someone right off the top of her head. And you know what? I got to be honest with you. I don't care. I don't care. If black people want to buy black designer stuff, more power to you. That's just economics. And, you know, look, you know, other communities do it. They've you know, patron each other, whatever. And that's fine. I don't care. You know, if you can help someone become a solid business person, whatever, why is she getting backlash for this? I don't really give a shit. She says, let's see, what does it say here? The segment of her new podcast, The Look. I didn't know she had this is a new, it's not her old podcast. Obama explains she makes a point to buy from people of color designers whose style she likes as long as clothes are available to fit her wardrobe. Conservative voices like End Wokeness and Senator Mike Lee called the comments racist. Okay, let's do a poll. Hang on. Conservative voices like Ed Wilkinson and Senator Mike Lee called her comments racist, claiming she avoids white-owned brands and urged others to do the same. I don't know. Did she say that? Though she never uses that phrasing and mentions options like Chanel, supporters see it as a call to empower underrepresented creators in an industry long dominated by few voices. While critics compare it to a hypothetical reversal from Melania Trump, I'm in the don't give a shit category. I don't think it's racist, you know. Buy from within your community or whatever. I don't get it. Hello. Hi, what up, Kay? How you doing? I think this is much ado about nothing. She says other dumb shit that I'd be much more concerned about than that. I only wear Army surplus and chainmail. Well, there you go. See? That's definitely some, I don't know. That's some kind of ethnic shit. I don't know how. Hello, Tyler F, by the way. So anyway, I don't care. That's a hubbub that doesn't need to be a hubbub in my opinion, but maybe, just maybe, you think that what she said was racist. I don't know. Okay, moving on. Also, Scott Jennings and CNN again there's a clash over the Gaza peace board. Let's just read what happens first, or listen to what happens first, what they clip, and then we'll go back and read how it's summarized on X. So here, and I'll put two different people posting about it. This is a debate between him and some pro-Palestine activist, Cameron Kasky, trying to claim that President Trump's words for peace for Gaza was a facade because no Palestinian was included. Okay, let's see what that happens in this clip.
You know, it sounds like it should be in the top 10 choices is a Palestinian person, which does not appear on this peace board. And that's how we know that Donald Trump's alleged ceasefire, which the state of Israel has violated countless times, by the way, is just a facade. And
you're going to let the aggressors in this war onto the peace board? I don't think so.
Who are the aggressors in this war?
Hamas, the Palestinians, Hamas that invaded Israel, that raped, murdered, kidnapped, and tortured the Israelis. That
are you
took
claiming
hostages,
right now that the state of Israel has never committed rape, torture, or murder against innocent Palestinians? Can you make that claim?
The entire reason we had this war is because of October the 7th. So, no, I don't think they should be invited to be on the peace board until they, I don't know, demilitarize and do the rest of the things they're supposed to.
I don't know. You know what's
okay? That's the clip. That's the part he put up.
Sounds like it should be in the top 10 choices as a Palestinian person, which does not appear.
What Mehdi Hassan, shitbird, what part of it he posted. Did he post the same part of this? Let's find out.
Alleged ceasefire, which the state of Israel.
He's
you know, it sounds like it
posting
should be in the top 10 choices
the
is a
exact
Palestinian
same
person,
thing.
which does not appear on this peace board, and that's how we know that Donald Trump's alleged ceasefire, which the state of Israel has violated.
Okay, so he posted the exact same clip, but let's go through the summary. On CNN's Newsnight, Republican Scott Jennings and activist Cameron Kasky debated President Trump's Board of Peace, a U.S.-led panel for Gaza ceasefire and reconstruction that invites over 50 countries but excludes Palestinians. Kasky labeled it as a facade without Palestinian representation, while Jennings argued aggressors like Hamas shouldn't join until they demilitarize, citing the October 7, 2023 attack. So Jennings says he spent half his time defending unwanted sexual activity, forcibly peoples, and murderers in Gaza, and the other half defending the same in Minnesota. A pattern emerged. But Mehdi Hasan, who's very mega anti-right wing and super pro-Palestinian, says, "Hey, CNN PR, are you okay with your paid contributor here saying all Palestinians are Hamas?" Now, he didn't say that explicitly. He said Hamas and Palestinians who did the October 7th stuff, which some of the Palestinians around there kind of participated or cheered it on or whatever. So I don't think he said all Palestinians, but whatever. Conflating Hamas with the Palestinian people. Well, the Gaza Palestinian people voted in Hamas, sort of. Who knows how much Hamas just beats people to vote for him, but whatever. Saying the Palestinians are the aggressors, isn't that massively racist? That's not racist. He's just, oh my God, how is that racist? By the way, speaking of racist, on my poll here, are Michelle Obama's comments racist? 12 votes, 2/3 to 1/3, yes to no. Interesting. I don't care if a black woman wants to patronize black designers. I just don't give a shit. I think in fact, I think that would empower more black people to start businesses and be self-efficient. So I'm gonna go against the grain of the crowd here. Oh shit! Somebody put. Oh my God! Somebody did a little AI treatment to Cameron Kasky here. Cameron Kasky, you know what sounds like it should be in the top 10 choices is a Palestinian person, which does not appear on this peace board. If they can find someone, they are racist, but they are such low tier racism. It's not really that big a deal. Okay, I would say if it's racial, you can be racial without being racist. I think. I don't know. That's my opinion. All right. Let's see. Now this one, that's the same clip. Trump invites Putin to join his $1 billion board of peace. That's weird, but look, I think if you don't get someone of the Palestinians to buy in, they're not going to, it's hard. Is this peace going to be imposed on them versus them being a partner in peace? That would be my only contention, but I don't know enough about the peace board to even tell you what the hell it is. So anyway, Scott Jennings is also trending, probably because of that they seem to be using the same clip, and there's a bunch of Scott Jennings clips. So I'll just leave it the tabs. He's entertaining, and I would say 85% of the time he's right, maybe 90, or at least I shouldn't say right. I agree with him 80 to 90% of the time. So Diego Garcia is trending. Now, if you don't know who Diego Garcia is, that's should be the norm because Diego Garcia is a place, not a person. Apparently, it's the Chagos Island, also known as Diego Garcia, and the Prime Minister in England described Chagos Islands as vital to the defense and intelligence capability of the UK, but then he gave them away to Mauritius. Am I saying that? Mauritius? An ally of China. Don't let that get in the way of your precious gaslighting shite. I don't know what he's replying to. But time for Washington to weigh in or lose Diego Garcia. The UK government is fast-tracking a deal to hand over sovereignty of the Chagos Islands to Mauritius, which would cede control of the land on which strategically valuable Diego Garcia... Oh, Diego Garcia is the base on the Chagos Islands. A base critical to recent attacks on Iran's nuclear weapons enterprise and which stands in the way of great Chinese naval presence across the Indian Ocean. This person doesn't know how to spell losing. He's spelling losing. Losing full access or having operations there constrained by a future Mauritius government. Mauritius. That's what I said, isn't it? Mauritius? Mauritius. Is an unnecessary risk, potential encroachment and unchecked Chinese maritime or land development on or around neighbor atolls in Chagos, a long-standing concern and valid seeing what has transpired in the South China Sea island building. It's time for U.S. leadership to weigh in and ask the UK to pump the brakes and find a better solution. So they're going to give up this island that's very strategic in the Indian Ocean, and people are concerned about it. All right. Keep going here. More on Minnesota news. Now there's two. It's interesting because I get a lot of Minnesota news in my X feed just because I'm from Minnesota, right? And the first one, apparently today, there was going to be a work walkout at 2 p.m. in Minneapolis, and I'm not sure who was pushing for that, because I've seen a few people talk about it for today. But then also, Minnesota unions are calling for a January 23rd economic blackout against ICE raids. Unions and community groups in Minnesota are urging no work, no school, and no shopping on January 23rd in the ICE Out of Minnesota protest against recent ICE operations targeting criminals. The action follows Operation Metro Surge, which led to arrests of serious offenders, but also the fatal shooting of U.S. citizen Good, who ICE says rammed an agent with her SUV. Organizers demand ICE leave the state and accountability for her death, with endorsements from nurses, teachers, bus drivers, dozens of businesses. So the bus driver union, teachers union, nurses union, flight attendant union are all saying that they're going to not work on Friday, January 23rd. To which I ask, the fuck's that gonna do? What is that gonna do? Oh, look, ICE is in town. We're not gonna work on Friday. Your local neighborhood ICE agent would be like, okay, nobody cares. I could see, listen, I could see if they were protesting something like the state government was doing. Like if the state government was doing something they didn't like, and the government workers who work in the state government all said, okay, fuck it, we're not working Friday. We're going to take ourselves a little long weekend here. What does this do? What does this do to ICE? What does this do to the federal government? Healthcare workers are going to strike. So hurt people. All they do is hurt Minnesotans. Hello, Evan S., by the way. And Selected Boy. Yeah, boy. So liberal Minnesotans are calling for a statewide economic blackout on January 23rd to get ICE out of their communities once and for all. No work, no school, no shopping. Thoughts? Knock yourself out. What is that going to do? Is it going to, suddenly, we're not working. All the kids at school will be wanting to get ICE out of here. Well, how can they do that? I don't know. I don't know. Here's a letter from the Minnesota Nurses Association urging union members to participate in ICE Out of Minnesota Day of Truth and Freedom. It includes a statewide economic blackout rally. MNA, Minnesota Nurses Association, and SEIU are as bad as the teachers unions. We are mandated to pay them dues and then they finance their political agenda with it. I remember receiving multiple emails from the Minnesota Nurses Association recruiting RNs to provide first aid services and man supply booths during the George Floyd riots. So they put out this whole letter here. I mean, there's a 2-page freaking letter. What? Should we read? I want to see this. Hang on a second. There we go. On January 23rd, Minnesotans across the state will participate in the Ice Out of Minnesota, a day of truth and freedom, a statewide economic blackout and rally calling attention to the harm immigration and customs enforcement ICE actions are causing to our communities. The Minnesota Nurses Association is encouraging members to participate in this day of action, including the economic blackout and the 2 p.m. rally, as a visible show of solidarity with immigrant communities, workers, and families impacted by ICE activity. We want to be clear and upfront. Minnesota Nursing Association is not calling for a work stoppage or walkout. I was going to say, because you can kill some people. What up? Nomad's in the house. What up, Nomad?
Stop. Hammer time.
Nurses hold a unique and essential role as caregivers and patient advocates. We encourage members to honor the no-strike provisions of their contracts and report to work as scheduled. Continuing to provide care is not an absence from this. To provide care is not an absence from this moment. It is an act of solidarity. By showing up for patients while standing together in advocacy, nurses are protecting Minnesota's most vulnerable community members in ways only nurses can. As nurses, you will see the impact of fear every day. When people delay care or avoid hospitals altogether, outcomes worsens, not just for individual patients, but for public health as a whole. That reality is why nurses and healthcare workers cannot be silent or absent moments like this. What about the nurses who kind of agree in principle with what's going on? Because I agree highly in principle to what's going on. Now, like I said, some of the tactics I think are stupid and counterproductive, but the effort is, I think it's the correct effort. Do I think it's a perfect effort? No, I think there's a lot wrong with how they're doing it, but they're doing the right thing. They're doing the right job. How members can participate on January 23rd. There are many ways to take part, whether you are scheduled to work or not. Participate in the economic blackout by refraining from shopping online or in person. Again, how does this affect ICE? Attend the 2 p.m. rally in downtown Minneapolis if you are not scheduled to work. Have your rally. Nobody cares. Wear Minnesota Nursing Association red as a visible sign of solidarity. Oh, so we want it to be a color revolution. Post a photo or video on social media sharing why you are participating. Participate in a community action near you. Join a day of prayer and fasting for truth and freedom. Yes, if I don't eat, ICE will go home. Stand in solidarity while continuing to provide care if you are scheduled to work. Training opportunities for members. Oh, they have training too for this. And then ICE Out of Healthcare Trainings has invited MNA members to join. These SEIU-hosted virtual trainings will focus on what healthcare workers can do to protect each other and our patients when enforcement. Oh, these are. Oh, I want to go through the training. We should do training tomorrow. Should we do ICE Out healthcare training tomorrow? I wonder if you have to have a special login or not. Register here. Okay, there's 3 places to register. As union members, we know that our strength comes from solidarity and from standing together with our coworkers. These trainings are one way to build that collective power and meet this moment with clarity, care, and confidence. So I haven't gotten anything from my union about this, and I better not. None of my unit works in the city proper. Well, I guess we have, the Minneapolis location, but very interesting. What's it going to accomplish? What does that accomplish? Here's someone talking about it.
On January 23, the ATU Local 1005 stands in solidarity and endorses the call for a collective refusal to work in solidarity with immigrant communities, with protesters demanding an end to militarized raids, and with all of those who refuse to accept a normalized state of violence. Where's the morality in tear gas directed at a family? Where's the justice?
See what he did there? Did you hear what he did there? What's the morality of tear gas directed at a family? That tear gas wasn't directed at a family. The tear gas was part of the riot that was going on where the family accidentally got stuck in the area. The tear gas was not direct. Now they're going to tell you that the tear gas was directed at the family. What a fucking crock. Of course they do, because don't let a crisis go to waste.
Justice when a mother's life is taken. Where's the accountability when...
Again, I feel bad for anyone named Good and anyone related to her. She did not deserve to die, but she caused her own demise. Just like, an idiot streamer or whatever influencer goes to the top of a mountain, takes a picture of them hanging off a cliff, and they fall. They didn't deserve to die, but they caused their own demise.
Federal power overrides community safety and constitutional rights. Working people cannot stand aside while our neighbors are terrorized and our families are fractured. Because those are our families. Those are our neighbors. Those are us. They are us.
Well, no, they're not you. They're other people. They're not you. But okay.
The call for this day of no work, no school, and no shopping.
Again, what does this accomplish regarding ICE? How does this help you get ICE out of Minnesota? Who does this affect that would cause ICE to leave? It doesn't. It doesn't.
Members started telling us in large numbers that they were going to honor that call of the 23rd. 95% of them said they were planning not to go to work.
In his letter from a...
How so? Did you have an online poll and the ones who aren't going to go signed up? Okay, who cares? Are they going to explain this?
Birmingham jail, the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. said, "We are caught in an inescapable..."
Please stop using Martin Luther King Jr. for your purpose, white lady. I try to say it with a straight face. Anyway.
Network of mutuality, tied in a single garment of destiny. Whatever affects one directly affects all indirectly. As Dr. King describes, an injury to one is an injury to all. This belief is the bedrock of the labor movement, active solidarity.
You don't even know your neighbor.
Right now, labor unions must stand together in a network of solidarity to demand that ICE leave Minnesota and stop inflicting this public safety hazard on our community.
The public safety hazard are you people who are protesting them. They're removing public safety hazards. Okay, so that's there. So, well, 2 o'clock Friday, what am I doing 2 o'clock Friday? What if I should go down there and talk to people? I better not, but I won't wear my beanie that has the American flag on it because, my God, they'll make me take it off and my head will get cold because I shaved my head. Let's see. Next. Oh, this is, Davos. I guess Davos, the World Economic Forum's this week. And the private planes are all in the sky heading to Davos. Yeah, let's see here. I think we're going to see some major shakeups at Davos. Our president understands the global threat map. Sadly, Bush and company effed everything up in Iraq and Afghanistan so badly that the American people have PTSD from foreign involvement. It's time to pop a Xanax, suck it up like big boys and girls, and understand that Greenland is critical for national security. We've been trying to get it since after World War II. Actually, no, the first time they tried to buy Greenland was, I think, 1910. There's like 4 different presidents who went into negotiations for Greenland, and then, but, and no one, lost their friggin' mind over it then. And then now, now that Trump does it, of course, they're going to lose their mind because they hate everything he does. Because Trump post this on Truth Social. I had a very good telephone call with Mark Rutte, the Secretary General of NATO, concerning Greenland. I agreed to a meeting of various parties in Davos, Switzerland. As I expressed to everyone very plainly, Greenland is imperative for national and world security. There can be no going back on that. Everyone agrees. The United States of America is the most powerful country anywhere on the globe by far. Much of the reason for this is the rebuilding of our military during my first term, which rebuilding continues at an even more expedited pace. We are the only power that can ensure peace throughout the world. And it is done quite simply through strength. President Donald Trump, whatever. So, so we'll start hearing reports on what's happening in Davos over the next 24 to 48 hours. Other things happening. Don Lemon still trending. He had a meltdown with Nicki Minaj. I wonder if he's still streaming. Oh, he's on with the dude from TMZ. Wait, is he live?
Republican in the past. So maybe this is just, she's decided that now she's just going to do it very publicly.
Look, she's free to be whatever if she wants to be a conservative or support Donald Trump or whatever. They're
talking about Nicki Minaj.
But it's in the way that you do it, and people are going to call her out. She's a public figure. People are going to call out the hypocrisy.
People are going to call you out, Don. You didn't seem to like it.
For an organization whose leader, sadly, who died in a way that he should not have died, where he talked about black women. He disparaged black women and their brain.
Okay, he's stuck on that. He's stuck on stupid.
Processing power.
He's stuck on stupid. So anyway, Don Lemon's trending because he's got a little spat going with Nicki Minaj, who ripped him to shreds. Let's see. Here's someone. Oh, here's a woman who's. Let's watch one person who is blasting Don Lemon. We'll watch this one.
Administration and the fake news magas are losing their mind over something that's not even true.
Oh,
that he lied about?
No, sir. This ain't got nothing to do with MAGA. This got everything to do with you taking your fagger ass up in that church and harassing people like that.
Wait, no, she didn't. Oh my! I was not ready. I didn't watch this ahead of time. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
Their mind over something that's not even true.
Oh, no, sir. This ain't got nothing to do with MAGA. This got everything to do with you taking your fagger ass up in that church and harassing people like that.
Oh my God!
Now you
I was not ready.
Back and act like, oh well, I am in no affiliation, association. No. You are in 110% corroboration with the Democratic Party that is causing more and more and more problems. You, by the way, who keeps saying that white people are devils, but you married to a white man. So does that make you the devil's broad?
She ain't lying.
I'm trying to understand, what is it exactly that you are doing, and what is it exactly that you want us to think that you're doing? You are opposition to any and everything that is successful in this country. Anything that is trying to get this country together, you are in direct opposition of. But then you want to come back and try to play the victim. No, you're not a victim, Don. You are not a victim. You are 100% guilty of all the shit that you have already done. And then you keep doing it. Then you keep doing it. Then you want us to come in and talk about, oh, well, it's the news. It's the news. You're a damn journalist yourself. Listen, people. I keep trying to tell you, we're doing a complete separation. If you are not a melanated American, if you are not one of our non-melanated cousins, all y'all can get out. Even the people that were born here. If you do not like this country, and Don, you got plenty of money, take your ass somewhere else. You and your husband. Why don't you go somewhere? Where is all the rest of these people? Where did what's the name? The white lady that had the TV show. Go with Portia. Go on with Ellen DeGeneres. Why don't you go be neighbors with Ellen and them?
I don't know where she went.
Just get that fuck out.
Rosie went to Ireland. Spain's nice. I would move to Spain. I love Spain. I just loved it there, but I'm not moving to Spain. Anyway, so
administration.
I don't know who that was, but she had some words for him. It's kind of funny, though, him claiming that, oh, we did an act of journalism. No, you were there, and we went through this yesterday. He was with the group before they left, and he knew exactly where they were going. By the way, it wasn't his car that got stuck in the snow, though. It was one of the other people's car that got in the snow, and he and his crew helped them get out of the snow. I made that mistake yesterday. And so after they got him unstuck, they didn't have to follow anyone to get to the church because they already knew where the church was. They already knew the address of the church. It's like he said, oh, we just happened upon this church and there was a protest and we followed them in the church. You didn't follow them in the church because they were already inside the church when you got there, and you didn't have to follow anyone to get there because you knew where that was because you were in the meeting telling you exactly what they were going there to do. And in the end, they intimidated people to end their service, and the people who were in the protest were saying, you know, yeah, we did it. We stopped it, whatever. Y'all broke the law. Oh, and by the way, you know, a lot of people talking about the FACE Act, right? And I was trying to figure out, okay, when they wrote the FACE Act, okay, because part of it was for abortion clinics, right? That you couldn't protest or whatever in the building of an abortion clinic. And then it said it added that second clause about religious institutions, right? And I was trying to think to myself, who the hell put that in there? How did that get in that FACE Act? Because at the time they originally wanted to just do abortion clinics. And then it dawned on me. They did it not to protect churches. They did it so no one would protest mosques. Because part of that FACE Act, you can't even block entry to an abortion clinic or to a religious institution, right? But I'm thinking, well, that had to go into law when Democrats were in power. That's the only thing I can think of. And so Democrats did it to protect mosques, not churches, but because it's all religious institutions, it includes temples, mosques, churches, whatever. So that's where Democrats, I'm waiting for the Democrat to complain that, no, we didn't write this for Christian churches. We wrote this for mosques because someone's going to do it. Someone's going to drop that little doohickey, whatever. Also, this is interesting. Some new news about this. We already know that one of the guys there protesting, the dude with the beard that was screaming in people's faces, professional protester. He goes all over the country to various protests. And here's an interesting tidbit too. Minneapolis prosecutors' top aide was part of the anti-ICE protest at the church. If Minneapolis churchgoers expected local prosecutors to protect them after anti-ICE disruptors halted a worship service on Sunday, they might want to think again. A top staffer for Hennepin County Soros-backed prosecutor was among the protesters. Jamel Lundy works as intergovernmental affairs coordinator for the Hennepin County Attorney Mary Moriarty, and is married to St. Paul City Council member Anika Bowie. By the way, the St. Paul City Council, I don't live in St. Paul, but they were very proud of the fact that they had their first all-woman city council. And then they also, look, the city councils here in Minneapolis and St. Paul are just as liberal as any city council in San Francisco, New York City, Chicago. They are just as left-wing lunatics. Anyway, so the Department of Justice is pursuing federal charges against the protesters who disrupted a church service, according to Harmeet Dillon, the Assistant Attorney General. In his role in Moriarty's office, Lundy is the very staffer who would interface with the federal government, including on an existing investigation into Moriarty's boasting that she takes into account a suspect's racial identity when making charging decisions. Yeah, she does do that. She said that out loud one time. So anyway, so yeah, don't expect any help from, no, here's the problem though. The church is not in Hennepin County. The church is in Ramsey County. So that may be a plus, depending, but I don't think it's any better, just so you know. But this happened in Ramsey County, not Hennepin County. But still, the fact that the Hennepin County prosecutor's assistant, whatever, was part of the protest tells you what it's like here in Minnesota. All right. All right. Here's what Ms. Wildwolf. So I mean, that's what I was coming up with this. Now this is not new news, but as I named the title, it's how I'm going to explain everything right now. From now on, well, what's going on in Minnesota? Well, the governor has been propped up by Satan worshippers. Anyway, here, let's watch this real quick, and then there's a couple more pieces I have about it. This is perfect. This is a perfect explanation of why Minnesota is cursed.
Satan worshippers, thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the state capitol building.
All right, sorry. I didn't start that from the beginning. Let me start from the beginning. Okay?
It's for you.
Hang on.
That's right, everyone.
Stop. What the hell? Let's try this again. There we go.
I'm not surprised. This is the Democrat Party.
This is Representative P.M. Altendorf coming live at you from the Minnesota State Capitol.
This from April.
I am on the ground floor, and as I was leaving my committee meeting today here earlier, I noticed that there is a new display here at the State Capitol, and it's for Governor Walz. It's right here on display. So let me see. I mean, I guess I can't flip my phone, but I'll see if I can show it to you.
By the way, could she have any more of a Minnesota accent? She has the perfect Minnesota accent. And I just wonder if she's going to go home and make a hot dish and play some Duck, Duck, Gray Duck.
So this is what we have here, everyone. Let me read it to you. The Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the state capitol building. Satan has a special place for you.
That last line by the Satanist, Satan has a special place for you. My God. Yeah. He'll be, again, how to explain everything happening in Minnesota. Satan has a special place for you. Minnesota.
That's right, everyone.
That's right.
So the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers.
It's so hard to listen to her voice because it's so Fargo, Minnesotan, whatever. Holy crap. Holy crap.
They have given some sort of plaque here to Governor Tim Walz. So let me be the first, I guess, to congratulate Governor Tim Walz for this very special award that has come from...
That's not Midwestern. That is Minnesota. I'm just telling you. Because I grew up in Nebraska, and I don't think I talk like that. Maybe I do. Do I talk like that? No, that's like Minnesota, North Dakota, upper northwest Wisconsin. I mean, we're talking full on. But anyway.
The Satan worshippers here in the Minnesota State Capitol. Yes, everyone, this is true. I am live, not making this up. You can't make this up.
You can't make that up. That's hilarious.
There's nothing.
So, if you remember, I think it was last year, maybe it was the year before. The Satanists had requested to put up a display in our state capitol, and under, I guess, the guise of religious freedom, they approved him doing it. And then so now they're thanking the governor from the Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshippers. She's congratulating him ironically. She's not happy about this. Okay, that wasn't a serious congratulations. It's more of a tongue-in-cheek. Look what they did for you, asshole. Congratulations. Okay, because congratulations. He's got Satan has a special place for you. Satan has a special place for him when you're dead with me. With me.
I think if you're Governor Tim Walz, you could choose not to have up this plaque.
Right.
I don't know why a governor of a state would want this plaque, but there it is. Let me show you. Here we are, live at the state capitol, and the Satan worshippers have thanked Governor Tim Walz.
Okay, we got the point. It goes on for another minute, and then here's another guy talking about it. But yeah, so I went to look this up because I was like, is it still up there? Here is the plaque. It's a little display there. The Democratic Coalition of Satan Worshipers thanks Governor Tim Walz for not standing in the way of spreading Satanism in the state capitol building. Satan has a special place for you in hell. Oh, you can't see what I can't even see it there. There's the picture of what I just posted up there. There it is. Whoop, there it is on a little thing in the. I wonder if that's still there. I really do. But which has inspired some artwork. Oh, fuck me. Anyway, so yeah, congratulations, Tim Walz, on your, on your Satan thing. And it's showed up in the not the Babylon Bee, but their real news section called Not the Bee. A few other things before we go. I wanted to read this editorial from Glenn Reynolds, who's was known as Instapundit, and then a couple other articles we'll get to here in a second. But this one I wanted to read for the show, talking about how Democrats are playing with fire from Satan. Anyway, Ms. Wildwolf, did you see my GIF? Well, let's go. Where would that be? Oh, wait, at the beginning of the show? Did I see it? I saw, oh, you know what? Because I haven't, there's more. Okay, hang on. Oh, here. Hey, yeah, some more people shared the show. Let me just do that. Mike Savage with the Let Us Go. Thank you, sir. And then Ms. Wildwolf, let's go. What's that say? Something, let's go. What does that say? I can't read it. What did you do? Anyway, Tim Walz. Oh, that's funny. That's funny. I'm posting that. Oh, does that say Timmy or Titty? I don't know what the hell that says. And our daily, woo, Ric Flair from Tyre Alexander. Thank you. And then some other people share the show. Rexio in Puerto Rico. Oh, wait, what's this? Hang on. And K-Shell, thank you, Kirsten. And Rexio in Puerto Rico, Tyre Alexander, Green Badger Outdoors, Somnambule Nation, all sharing the stream. Oh, and something called notifications with 16 followers. So there you go. What is this? Reaction Puerto Rico. Alcohol, a homeless man who desecrated a church and followed children out to their vehicles while foaming at the mouth, wants to know why he's being followed. Oh, is it? Look, now here's a problem. And I said this yesterday with this little church incident with Don Lemon. Oh, maybe I wrote it because I didn't say it during the show. If something else happens to that church, like a hot yellow reddish event with smoke, we might have to blame Don Lemon for that and that group. But are there going to be copycat events of this, though? I did say it yesterday. Yeah, flames. If that church burns, I blame that group. And I'm not, look, it would not shock me at all if something happens, if that church gets firebombed because of these fucking idiots. There's just some idiots out there. Let's see what this one is.
The people.
How intoxicated are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Man, I've had a couple of drinks tonight, but that doesn't mean shit.
Just a few.
I'm an American patriot. I can have a couple of drinks.
I'm just curious. How much are you guys getting paid? I'm just asking questions.
How much are you guys getting paid? What are you guys doing? Why are you guys following people around?
We're covering.
Why are you following the people?
How intoxicated are you on a scale of 1 to 10?
Okay, so apparently this guy, what did he do? He desecrated a church and followed children out to their vehicles while foaming at the mouth, wants to know why he's being followed. Fucking fantastic. We need more copycat idiots doing shit like that. Someone's going to I can't threaten this, but someone's going to meet their demise over this kind of shit. They're going to push too far. But anyway, let's go through this editorial from Glenn Reynolds. With anti-ICE fury, Democrats are playing with fire. Speaking of fire, Democrats are playing with fire, but it's the whole country that's likely to get burned. For a democratic republic to function, you need certain key elements. First, elections must generally be regarded as honest. Second, candidates and their supporters have to abide by the results of those elections when they occur. Third, winners of elections must not behave in a way that makes losing the contest a matter of life and death or of lifetime imprisonment. Democrats are undermining or just outright wrecking all three. On electoral trustworthiness front, Democrats are standing united against measures to ensure that only legitimate voters can cast votes and that the votes cast are counted honestly and transparently. When it comes to abiding by elections, the Democrats have treated President Trump's victories in both 2016 and 2024 as illegitimate. In fairness, he did the same in 2020, but accepted Joe Biden's presidency after Inauguration Day. In Trump's first term, Democrats formed a resistance movement as if the administration of a duly elected president was analogous to a German occupation government in World War II, and pushed the patently false claim that his victory was a hacked election or the product of non-existent Russian collusion. In his second term, the resistance is expanding with suggestions that Trump is ruling as a king, and now with the often violent protests aiming to block the legitimate enforcement of duly enacted immigration laws. Democratic governors and mayors in Minnesota, Oregon, Illinois have gone so far as to actively enable the chaos by withdrawing police protection. Finally, winners of elections must not pose as existential threats to the losers. They can't carry out or even hint at mass imprisonment or blanket prosecution, because they're already saying that they're going to imprison and prosecute every person related to the current administration. That's what they've been saying that in the first year of his presidency. In fact, almost as soon as he got in office. Take a lesson from history. Julius Caesar led his army across the Rubicon to seize power in Rome because his political enemies were plotting to subject him to political prosecutions that could have led to his death or exile. Caesar saved himself for a while, but his actions and the behavior of his opponents that triggered it killed off the Roman Republic. Historically, in American politics, electoral losers have accepted the result, however grudgingly, and concentrated on winning the next election. This new trend of treating Republican electoral victories as inherently illegitimate is a departure and very dangerous. It's made more dangerous by widespread threats from important Democratic figures to prosecute not only Trump and his administration, but lower-level officials and now even federal law enforcement agents. House Minority Leader Hakeem Jeffries has been raising the specter for months, and other prominent leftists are following his lead. In September, Jeffries and Democrats would prosecute members of Trump's Justice Department just once they regain power. Quote, Donald Trump and his toxic administration will be long gone, but there will still be accountability to be had. That's a quote. In December, he issued a message on X to, quote, all these GOP extremists and Trump sycophants, the statute of limitations is 5 years. It will be well beyond the end of the Trump administration. We've heard similar statements from Jasmine Crockett, Democratic consultant James Carville, and ex-CNN's gadfly Jim Acosta. This month, the drumbeat got louder amid stepped-up immigration enforcement operations in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Leftist commentator Jennifer Welch, that hag, recently used her podcast to push relentless prosecutions of Trump, Elon Musk, Stephen Miller, and other Republicans if Democrats regain power, arguing it would be necessary for true national reconciliation. Oh, that will fire all of us up. Everybody will be on board, Jennifer, you hag. And just last week, Jeffries was back warning rank-and-file ICE officers to expect the Democratic administration to prosecute them for any crimes it could discover, or perhaps, given the history of efforts to prosecute Trump in the past, invent. Every single one of these people who we see brutalizing the American people, they're going to be held accountable, Jeffries said of ICE agents. As Caesar's experience demonstrates, you can't have a democratic republic if every election is an existential struggle in which the loser risks extinction. People don't want to be rendered extinct, or they can be expected to take steps to prevent it. Hint, hint. If Democrats keep up with this thuggery, Republicans will be all but forced to respond in their own defense, and any action they take can destabilize the nation even further. The last such time a breach happened in the United States was in 1860 when pro-slavery Democrats seceded from the country rather than abide by the results of the presidential election. Well, they're kind of still pro-slavery in a sorts. That resulted in a civil war that killed hundreds of thousands of Americans and devastated much of the nation, a war driven by Southern fire-eater rhetoric that's not unlike what we're hearing now from some Democrats today. It needs to stop, or the consequences might be much worse than this time around. And that's the editorial from Glenn Harlan Reynolds, also known as Instapundit. The only other things I have today are these. Breitbart, the DOJ is going to be investigate the potential violations of the FACE Act and the KKK Act after Don Lemon and his cohorts, Don Lemon, the journalist, followed the people into a church. The Department of Justice is investigating potential violations of the Freedom of Access to Clinic Entrances Act and the KKK Act after anti-ICE protesters stormed a church in Minnesota on Sunday. The move is a stark departure from the authoritarian Biden DOJ, which used the same federal laws to prosecute and imprison nearly 24 peaceful pro-life activists, including an 89-year-old communist concentration camp survivor, several grandmothers, and a Christian father of 11. Yeah, Biden used it against people who were praying outside a church. We already know what happened. And here's Harmeet Dillon, the Civil Rights Division, is investigating the potential violations of the federal FACE Act by these people desecrating the house of worship and interfering with Christian worshipers. So that's coming up. And then they have some examples of what happened to the pro-life people who the Biden administration prosecuted. Washington Free Beacon, just more on Don Lemon when he's saying you have to make people uncomfortable, how Don Lemon helped anti-ICE activists storm a Minnesota church. Now he's claiming he wasn't part of it. He didn't know anything about it beforehand. We showed you yesterday why he did. Also, apparently, the group that was part of this. Well, there you go. Thank you, Abacus Diabli. The group that had pushed that protest and some other protests in the Minneapolis area. The group's called Racial Equity, right? And it's a group funded by Minnesota taxpayers, asked for donations to bail out for a bailout fund freeing anti-ICE agitators. A racial equity and restorative justice nonprofit funded by Minnesota taxpayers is calling for donations for a new bail fund that's helping free anti-ICE agitators and illegal immigrants detained in Minneapolis. Well, the illegal immigrants probably aren't having bails set for them, but certainly the people who are obstructing justice are. The Legal Rights Center, which Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison led for 5 years, is promoting the People's Bail Fund of Minnesota through Know Your Rights Minnesota, a legal rights center project that provides legal information and resources for activists. The project's website was updated Thursday to include a link to the bail fund, which only secured nonprofit status last week. Isn't that special? And is actively accepting requests for ICE protest cases. So they're doing the same thing they did during the BLM protest and riots. So I'll notice I said both. There's protests and there's riots, and they're doing the same shit. Thank you, Evan Diablo. You are the new Streamlabs superstar sponsor of the day. Dropping a small bullet in the tip jar. 223 says the Democrats do have a long history of firebombing churches, especially those with kids in them. So it won't surprise me if it happens. Oh yes, that is true. Thank you, Avocado Diablo. Really appreciate it. And then let's see, Daily Caller. What was that? What the hell? Eli Honig from CNN. He's not any stretch of the imagination right winger, but he says Trump has broad authority to invoke the Insurrection Act in Minnesota. Senior legal analyst Eli Honig said on Monday that President Trump has the power to invoke the Insurrection Act in response to the upheaval in Minnesota. While tensions prevail in Minnesota over immigration enforcement, Trump floated the possibility of invoking the Insurrection Act, which allows the president to nationally deploy troops to quell civil disorder, rebellion, or other instances of unrest. Honig argued on CNN News Central that while Trump has the legal authority to do this, it would be a dramatic step. Here's what he said.
The Pentagon has ordered about 1,500 active duty soldiers to prepare for a possible deployment to Minnesota. President Trump is threatening to invoke the Insurrection Act, continues to, in response to the unrest there. Can you explain for everyone, remind everyone as we start this week and what that could mean, the Insurrection Act and what it does and doesn't allow?
So, Kate, the Insurrection Act would be a very dramatic step by the president. This is a law that allows the president essentially to take our military forces, and I don't mean National Guard, I mean Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and turn them into local police, local law enforcement, which ordinarily is not permitted. A couple things to know about the Insurrection Act.
All of a sudden, the Blue Angels fly over the protest on Friday. That'd be crazy.
First of all, it gives the president very broad authority. He can use it if there is a rebellion or insurrection, or much more broadly, even if it's necessary to enforce federal laws. Second of all, it hasn't come up much because it doesn't happen that often, but when it has reached the courts have given the president very, very broad deference to invoke the act as he sees fit. But Kate, just for historical context, this Insurrection Act has not been used since 1992 after the Los Angeles riots, and before that it was used in the 50s and 60s to desegregate our schools when certain towns and states resisted the Supreme Court's order in Brown versus Board of Education. So Donald Trump certainly does have broad authority here if he wants to invoke the Insurrection Act, but I think it would be wildly out of step with the way it's been invoked over our history.
Yeah, I suppose, they did during the LA riots though, right? That was kind of crazy. Now they didn't, I don't know, they didn't do it.
Hey, that's some pretty good looking.
Shut up. They didn't do it during the BLM riots though. I don't think they did. I don't think they actually did that. So one last article and then I'm gonna get out of here. And this is just talking about how the Democrats have been using this to flood the nation with new voters, aka immigrants. And it's from a new book called The Invisible Coup, How American Elites and Foreign Powers Use Immigration as a Weapon. I'm not going to go through it. It's by Peter Schweitzer. It's kind of a summary of it, but I highly encourage you to check that out too. And that's it, guys. I think I'm done. Yeah, that's everything I was going to do today. And I even got it in before. Well, I'm still a little bit late, but not too late. Anyway, yeah, so be careful out there. If you live anywhere near the Twin Cities Friday, come join us for a party at the old downtown Minneapolis with all the unions that are going to strike for the day. I still don't have any freaking idea what they think they're going to accomplish by doing that. Let's say they get the entire city of Minneapolis to shut down. Okay, the entire city of Minneapolis shuts down because of that, right? How does that affect ICE? It doesn't at all. It doesn't at all. Go figure. Anyway, that's it. I got to go. Here's the links in the chat, and I'll have them in the description. Y'all have a great day. It's something to think about till tomorrow. I got to go. My name's Dawg Knight, and I am out of here. Bye-bye. Hey, this is Dawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the Dawg Knight Channel. If you
have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawgKnight, and I'm out of here.